My name is J. Paul Koffler. I live in Naples, Florida. This is about judicial corruption, legal misconduct by judges and lawyers. My wife Melissa and I were married in Texas, very happy. After about 5 years or so, we had a child together. Her name's Camille. After the child was born, 2-3 years later, my wife was suffering from postpartum blues. I had no idea how to deal with it. One thing led to another. We ended up being divorced, but we remained friends. I moved to Florida, where a few years later, I heard from friends that she had been found dead by her then current ex-husband, an ex-husband who shouldn't have had a key to her house, but he's who found her dead. We were still in touch by email, but her ex-husband was abusive. He's the same man that had been arrested for choking her. He had assaulted her on more than one occasion. He had also abused and neglected the children on different occasions. And Child Protective Services had stepped in. They'd only been married at that point and divorced, all in a period of 2.5, almost 3 years. Before that, Melissa and I had been married and together for over 10 years. Never a police call to our house, never any signs of abuse, never a dog kicked, a woman punched, nothing. No arrest record, nothing. Never in my history have I ever had to abuse anything or anyone to prove my manhood. I think my manhood's been proven by my years of service to my country and my Purple Hearts. Other than that, I've never needed to assault anybody. At the time that she died, I was living in Florida. I went from Florida to Texas, of course, the minute I heard that, to pick up my daughter and bring her to Florida with me. I was told no, I couldn't, that it was up to a judge where she would go. So, of course, I did the right thing, got an attorney, and proceeded to play the whole legal game. Of course, at the time, I believed that court systems were inherently righteous and about law and order and about honesty and about the scales of justice and the laws that were on the books. I was about to get a very harsh education. My education cost me a lot of money, a lot of hardship. During those years, my daughter was able to come to Florida to visit. We went on road trips together. We rekindled a love affair that we'd had since she was born. I actually was the person that caught my daughter when she was born in the hospital. I was the first, yes, this was the first face she saw. Lucky child. I think it scared her, but she dealt with it. I was always there for her. Being the disabled parent, I was the at-home parent. So I spent all my time with her. I walked her, I changed her, I diapered her, I stayed up with her at night while my wife went back to school to finish her degree. Meanwhile, we got divorced. I moved to Florida, and that's when the whole thing started. And then she died. I went to Texas, fought for her. Pretty much moved to Texas for about 3.5 years while the court battle went on. So I was living here and in Texas, which got expensive. Being a disabled veteran, of course, my only source of income was my disability pension. So my current wife was working to support me in Texas and in Florida. which was a hardship on our family. In the meantime, my stepson also went in the Marines and went off overseas. Our family is all about service. In the meantime, I am finding out that I am being treated as the criminal by the state of Texas. Why? Because I want my daughter. The strange thing that happened was these people pretty much forced me to go to court. I showed up with a habeas corpus and an attorney and said, look, I'm this child's father. I want to take her home. I live in Florida. They said no, and they took me to court. They took me to court. I am being treated like a criminal. I took drug tests, psychology tests. They inspected my home, my friends, everything. Passed everything. Not a bad thing anywhere, nothing. No police record, nothing. Boring. Yet my child was still taken away. Why? Best interest of the child. Well, under best interest of the child, this judge and any other judge can make that decision about anybody. I don't like the way you comb your hair. I don't like the car you drive. According to the laws of the United States, it's not supposed to be like that. A judge, the state, anybody is to tread lightly when stepping on family issues, especially when trying to separate a parent from their children. You have to prove with clear proof, not preponderance, but with very clear proof that you are a danger to that child, a danger to the child, imminent danger. Not just that you talk funny or that you drink too much or you have this bad habit or that bad habit. No, it has to be very clear that anybody, any group of citizens would look at what you're doing and say, you're a danger to that child. Nothing like that was ever found, other than I live in Florida. Oh my. I live in Florida. I'm going to take my child away from Texas and move her to Florida. That was it. That was the clear and imminent danger. Other than that, what about the law? What about Troxel? What about all the established Supreme Court of the United States that says over and over and over and over again about the rights of family to raise their own children, about the rights of parents to decide for their children? Are we not to follow the laws anymore? Are we, the citizens, the only ones that are supposed to follow the laws, while judges, these crows in black robes, these vultures that live off of this trough that we think is a justice system, they feed all on the same trough. The lawyers, the judges, the ethics boards, they're all the same group of people. You go to the ethics board to complain about what this judge did. Who are you dealing with? A judge that goes to the same club as the judge that you were just in front of. Who's he going to side with? You? They don't have to see you. Your lawyer, when he goes to court, does he represent you? The minute you pay your lawyer, he's already having a problem because he actually works for that judge. He works for that court. He doesn't work for you. He's there to represent you in this case, but his main job is to handle you in front of that judge, to handle you in front of that judge. Everything is preordained. Everything's orchestrated. And you don't have a prayer. And the truth and the law have nothing to do with it. I have books and books and books, reams of established law about family rules. The state of Texas, having been a republic, has its own constitution. This judge, Polly Jackson Spencer, broke every one of those rules. And not just with me. She's done that with other cases. But yet she's a judge. Spencer, a well-known name in San Antonio law. Jackson, another well-known name in San Antonio law. What kind of a chance does just a parent have against the club? None. So what are you to do? In my case, I've broken no laws. I have no police record. I have no CPS record. I've never abused anything. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it strongly. I know I'm wrong for saying this, and some people are going to look at me funny for saying it. But my child is disappearing into my rearview mirror. It's been 8 years now. For the last 3, I have not even been able to talk to her. I'm not allowed to. The judge, this same judge, Polly Jackson Spencer, is even taken her last name away from her. The name that's on her birth certificate is not my name anymore. On her birth certificate it is. In her school records it's not. She has the name of the very man who abused her mother. And my child saw that. So she lives in fear with this man that she saw abuse her mother, and now she's got his last name. This is justice in America. This is family law in America. I wish I lived in Zanzibar. I feel totally let down. I used to love my country. I fought and bled for my country. I don't feel like my country loves me anymore. Yes. Melissa died, passed away, was found dead in 2009. My daughter Camille was 9 years old then. For the 3 years that the court battle since Melissa's death lasted, trying to bring her back to Florida, we were able to take many road trips, Colorado skiing, snowmobiling, Arizona, New Mexico, museums, art galleries, road trips, just her and I, from Texas to Florida. Swamping, going to look at alligators, and doing the whole Florida thing, showing her the schools that she might possibly go to, getting a leave for my son from the Marine Corps so he could come and hang out with us and hang out with her. Good time was had by all. But then a storm hit our home here in Florida, as storms are known to do. There was some damage done to my house, so I had to come back from Texas. I couldn't get a continuance from the judge at the time to stay in Texas and take care of fixing the house. So in the meantime, they assessed that I should also have to not only pay child support to this man who was getting my daughter, but I should pay for his legal fees and his friends' legal fees and whoever supported him legal fees. And and that I would also not be able to see my child anymore, and that they would change her name. All this was said to me while I was gone. So, of course, being the type of human being I am, I took it very calmly. And I said that I did not like that I thought they were wrong for that, and I wrote a letter to the judge asking for her not to do that and to please give me a continuance. She rejected that, even though she had given a continuance to the other side many times, because they weren't ready one time, another time so they could go on vacation, on and on and on. The whole thing was very fair, I guess. So they found me in contempt, long story short. And they were right to. I have nothing but contempt for the San Antonio court. I think they're corrupt. I think they're repugnant. I think they're everything American justice isn't. I think they're a black eye on American family values. I think they're an insult to our Constitution. I think that the only good thing I've seen in the last few years is what Wild Bill Windsor is doing. Turning on a light should make all these roaches scurry to go hide behind something, because what they're doing is so wrong and so illegal. But we need our representatives, we need our attorneys generals to do their jobs and protect the citizens of their state. They say there's a division here. The politicians can't get involved and legislators can't get involved, blah, 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 blah. They're all lawyers. They're making those laws. These legislators are passing these laws. The laws only benefit the lawyers and the judges. The only people that get chewed up in the system are we, the people. The money just keeps flowing into the trough. And who feeds from that trough? The little piggies in the black robes and the lawyers. Period. It has to stop. If we have no family values, then you're going to see some true anger in this country. Our soldiers are all coming home. They want their families. They want their homes. They want their country. They want their Constitution. We have to know what the law is. If we don't know, the law keeps changing. If there's laws for we the people to obey, and another whole group of people who are beyond the law, they can do whatever they want to whoever they want to, with no downside to it. There's no downside to being a judge and being wrong. What's going to happen to them? What? Ooh, they're going to be chastised by another judge. Ooh, you shouldn't have done that. The country is full of stories. You can catch a judge with a prostitute in chambers. Is he going to lose his job? No. It's a Texas judge that gets caught on film beating the hell out of his daughter, going to lose his job even though he's a family court judge who's putting other people in jail for doing the same thing? Is he even going to lose a day worth of work? Is he going to get a penalty for this? Ooh, he's going to be called names at the club. How did you let that happen, that you got filmed doing that? Oh my. But if you do that, if you do something like that, if you say a wrong word in front of your child at the wrong time, and the wrong person hears you, and they want to benefit from it, ooh, CPS will be knocking on your door. A judge will make money. A lawyer will make money. A whole group of people have job security off of that wrong word you said in front of your child. But if you can be a judge, you can say whatever words you want, use whatever belt you want, do whatever you want, and you're going to remain a judge. Nice. That tells a lot to our youth. That tells a lot to everything. Long time, and I'm angry. I am really angry. This is not the country I bled for. I can't imagine being an immigrant nowadays in this country. All of them have gone through horrific things to come here, either from Eastern Europe, from Cuba, from South America. It doesn't matter from where. They're coming through horrific things just to get here for the American dream. And then they're getting here and finding out that the American dream is no longer here. Freedom's no longer here. A lot of the rights that we fought for, as all you veterans out there, there's 1.5 million of us in Florida alone. 1.5 million. Where were you guys last week? Why didn't you get out and vote? A lot of what you're losing is the very rights you were fighting for. I know you're disgruntled. I know you're unhappy. The only way we're going to change things is to stay involved. Take that anger and leave the TV, put the remote down, get out, and help with things like this. Get involved in your community. Get involved in what's going on in our justice system. We're the only ones that can clean it up. Wyatt Earp is dead. So's Bad Masterson. We're the new ones. There's got to be a new sheriff besides Bill Windsor. He can't do it all alone. Somebody has to help. We have to help ourselves, and we have to help each other. There's a lot of good people here in Florida. There's a lot of good people all over the United States. The thing about veterans, especially Marines, I can't speak to other services. I know a lot of good people in a lot of the services, but the ones I know the best are the Marines. In Marines, we have duty, honor, country, an ethos of being a warrior that calls for commitment. The commitment is not only to each other, but it's a check that we give our country that can be cashed by the citizens of this country anytime they need to. It has no ending date. We swore to have the duty to protect against enemies from outside our borders and from within our borders. Forever. Foreign or domestic. Forever. Some of us have bled for this country and survived. My body is like a road map of wounds. I just got out of the hospital and I'm cut from this side to this side, from this side down to here. Fresh, all new stitches. Still, there's still parts being taken out, parts being rearranged, burns being fixed. I didn't always look this pretty. I used to look prettier. Yes, if you can imagine that. The commitment stays with you. No matter what the wound, no matter what the pain, your buddies on your right and your left have died to get you 3 feet forward, to save you to go another day, so that you can help this guy and that guy to sleep while you're manning the wall. But while you're manning the wall, you're hoping that the citizens back home have your back, that they're making new ammo, that they're making new vests, that they're making a Humvee that's actually safe for you to drive over a mine with, that they care enough about you when you come back to have a job waiting for you, that if you lost both your legs, they don't look at you and say, oh, you're a drag on our society. Now you're going to cost me that free phone that Obama was going to give me. You're going to cost me that large screen TV I wanted to buy because I have to buy you a new pair of legs. Without his legs, you wouldn't have the mall to go to. Without all those guys, all those young kids that died in Iraq, you know how many thousand died? Do you know any of them? Your neighbors do. Some of your friends went to school with them. They're American kids, just like you. They wanted all the same things you want, and they're no longer here. They fought for those freedoms that you no longer care about, that you just take for granted. They fought so that you could sleep. They manned the wall so that you could have another day. Where are you now for them? Where are you now for this country? The country needs you. It's falling apart. We are under attack. If you attack a country by its family, look at history. One of the first Hitler did, one of the first things he did was go after the educational system and the children. Take the children, take the family. The children belong to the state. Families belong to the state. You have no longer any rights. Everything's about the state. Forget it. You no longer have that big screen TV. You no longer have the girlfriend named Susie. Now it's whatever the state wants to give you. And the same for law and order. If you think it doesn't affect you because you're not married, oh, he's divorced. No wonder he lost his children. He must have done something wrong. You go ahead and assume that and wait for the day that it comes for you. Sooner or later, you'll have a child. Sooner or later, you'll be married. By luck of the draw, your fault, her fault, it doesn't matter. You end up in a divorce. And all of a sudden, you'll see, the minute you're touched by the court, you're in the machine. And it's not up to you. It's not up to whatever you've done or whatever you believe or how good a guy you are. The assumptions by everybody else will be the same. You must have done something wrong. You lost your children. No, don't assume anything. There are people that are wrong. There are wife beaters out there. I have no respect for them. I don't think anybody should have respect for somebody that beats up their wife or anybody that's helpless. I have no respect for that person whatsoever. They should be taken care of by the courts or by somebody, by the law. But there's a lot of people out there that are just being eaten up alive by a system that is lawless. Thus, lawless America. Our laws mean nothing if they're not enforced. Our Constitution, first and above all else. If we don't have our Constitution, we're no longer a country. And we're no longer a country worth fighting for. Commitment. Semper Fi. I want my country back. I think there are 2 or 3 things that factor into why this judge gave my daughter away like unwanted luggage. One is my ex-wife was Texas royalty, an heiress of billions of dollars. Yes, I said billions with a B. As in $45 billion. Family Health Corporation. The father, my ex-wife's father, knows that I know what he did to my ex-wife himself. He abused her, drugged her, had sex with her when she was a teenager. One of the biggest reasons that I fought as hard as I did, and I'm still fighting, is that I fear that my daughter now is coming into the age that my ex-father-in-law likes his girlfriends at, which is in between 13 and 16. He's also very abusive. I was very close with his mother, my wife's grandmother, who was the person who built the company. I was very close with her, so we spent a lot of time together. I know personally that my ex-wife's father used his wife as a punching bag for whatever he was feeling on a daily basis. I would see them constantly, and I would constantly see her walking around with what I call raccoon eyes, the black eyes on both sides of her face. And there was just so many doorknobs in the ranch that you could walk into at any one time. I knew where all his skeletons were. I knew what he'd done with his daughter. I knew what he'd done with his wife. All of those reasons made him back this man financially and probably invest some money into the court system of Texas, which is not an unheard of thing in Texas. I don't want to push it, but it's not unheard of, especially with that kind of money. That's one of the reasons. Another reason is that the judge herself admitted in court, into the record, that she was a probate court judge, didn't have much of an idea about family law, but was willing to try the case anyway. I tried to remove it from there and remove it to Austin, Texas, and to a family court. She wouldn't hear of it. I tried habeas corpus. She wouldn't hear of it. Denied most of the evidence. Called police reports and police photographs hearsay. Police evidence, hearsay. Okay. At one point, she had attorneys for the other side sworn in and testifying in court. Attorneys for the other side testify in court. I know none of us are attorneys here, but there's a thing called trinci in quagliaro, which makes that totally illegal. Attorneys are not to testify in court. They're not witnesses, they're attorneys. My case was pretty much tried like that. On another day, in front of witnesses, she tried another case while I was on the stand. She made deals with other attorneys on a different case while our case was proceeding in court. I mean, this was just a joke. It wasn't a court. Contempt? Yes, I have contempt. I'm full of contempt. I couldn't have more contempt for this person if she'd have tried it in a bar, or if she'd have tried it in an alley. Yes, I'm full of contempt. That's the other reason. Confusion on her part? Yes. I don't think to this day she knows which one is Mr. Moore and which one is Mr. Koffler. I don't think she had any idea which one of us two had the police record. I don't think she cared, other than she was told to begin with, you're going to find this case this way, and you're going to be reelected because we're putting this much money in your reelection campaign. It's going to be a gift. Those things happen in the American court system. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. I think those are the reasons.